What up, YouTube? For a while now, I've been telling a lot of my friends I was going to start doing film reviews online. Watching movies is actually one of my favorite pastimes, and I've seen people do the same thing online on YouTube, and I figured, why not give it a shot? If people like my opinions and they enjoy my videos, I'll actually buy a decent camera, put some posters up, and have a good format to do this thing regularly. Now, in my first video, I'm going to review a movie that I just recently saw, and that's going to be the Purge 2 Anarchy, written and directed by James DeMonaco. The story behind this movie is that once a year, for 12 hours, our country allows all crime to be legal. Whether it be murder, rape, shooting people, maiming people, robbing people, whatever you can make up that would be a crime is completely legal for this one night. In turn, it's reduced America's crime rates to under 5%, the same with unemployment rates, and people are less and less people after the purge, is what they call it this night, are living under the poverty line because those are the main people getting killed. Now, back to this guy, James DeMonaco, who wrote and directed this movie. I'm going to go ahead and assume that in any movie he's involved with is going to be unnecessarily and ridiculously violent, because that's what this movie was. It was unnecessarily and ridiculously violent. Now, I don't mind a little bit of violence, but it seemed like every scene in this movie was just an excuse to kill, to burn, to shoot, to stab, to beat somebody to death, and to get enjoyment out of it from the audience. And I didn't enjoy it at all. It was just unnecessary. Now, I'm a big fan of violence. Don't get me wrong. I just think that when used in synchronization with a good story and with good characters, it makes for a pretty good film. But unfortunately, this had none of that. It didn't have interesting characters, save for Frank Grillo's character, who was very relatable in my opinion. But the characters were just uninteresting. The directing was incredibly lazy. Every scene in this movie was a close-up. My 4-year-old could take my iPhone and probably go outside and make a better film than The Purge 2 was. And the scenes that weren't close-ups, it was just the director sitting there and panning with the characters as they walked. That's incredibly lazy, and I'm not sure how this guy was able to direct such a high-level movie, I guess I'll call it, because really it's not that big of a deal. The predecessor sucked as well. It was just an excuse to make another home invasion movie, which, by the way, Hollywood, we don't need another home invasion movie because they all suck. Anyway, the direction was incredibly lazy in this movie. The characters were uninteresting, and there wasn't very much of a character arc for any of them. The story was terrible. The only thing this movie has going for itself is its concept. I'm sure that this movie is going to make a lot of money, and we'll probably be seeing a third fucking installment into this series. I'm going to give The Purge 2 Anarchy 2 out of 5 stars because it's shit.